Jesus calms the storm, trusting Jesus in times of fear. As the golden sun descended over the Sea of Galilee, Jesus stood with his disciples after a long day of teaching and healing. The water reflected the amber light, calm and peaceful. "Let us go over to the other side," Jesus said quietly. The disciples, many of them experienced fishermen, prepared their boat. They knew these waters well, the sudden changes, the shifting winds. As they pushed off from shore, the boat glided smoothly across the glassy surface, the gentle lapping of water creating a soothing rhythm. Jesus made his way to the back of the boat, resting his head on a cushion. Exhausted from the day's ministry, he fell into a deep, peaceful sleep. The disciples took their positions, working with practiced ease as the sky transformed from gold to pink, then deep purple. For a while, all was well. Stars began to appear one by one. But then something changed. The fishermen noticed it first, a shift in the air, dark clouds gathering on the horizon, moving toward them with unusual speed. The wind picked up, gently at first, then stronger. Small waves formed, growing larger by the moment. Within minutes, a furious storm descended upon them. Waves rose higher and higher, great walls of water towering over their small boat. Wind howled, tearing at the sail, pushing them violently. Water splashed over the sides, first in sprays, then in sheets. The disciples worked frantically, rowing with all their strength, bailing water desperately, but more kept coming in. The boat was filling. Thunder cracked overhead, lightning illuminating the terrifying scene. Even these experienced fishermen were afraid. This storm was overwhelming. Their hearts pounded, their muscles ached, their hands raw from gripping ropes. And still the storm raged on, growing more violent. In their desperation, they suddenly remembered, Jesus was still in the boat. They turned toward the stern, and there he was, sleeping peacefully, undisturbed even as the boat pitched and rolled, even as water sloshed around him, even as death seemed certain. How could he sleep through this? With the boat threatening to sink, they rushed to him. "Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?" Jesus opened his eyes and sat up calmly. Water dripped around him, the storm raging in full force. He looked at his frightened disciples, then stood and turned to face the wind and waves. He spoke, quiet. "Be still." His voice wasn't loud or frantic, it carried absolute authority, speaking to creation itself with calm certainty. Immediately, the wind stopped. Not gradually, it simply ceased, as if it had never been. The howling became silence. The great waves began to settle, and within moments, the violent sea became completely calm. The surface became smooth as glass, reflecting the stars as if nothing had ever disturbed it. The storm was gone. The disciples stood in stunned silence, water dripping from their clothes, their boat now floating on perfectly still water. They looked at each other, then at Jesus, then at the calm surrounding them, unable to comprehend what they'd witnessed. Jesus turned to them with gentleness. "Why are you so afraid?" he asked softly. "Do you still have no faith?" His words went deep. They had been in the same boat with the Son of God, yet they had been terrified. They had feared the creation more than they trusted the Creator. One disciple whispered what all were thinking, "Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him." They had seen miracles before, but this was different, power over nature itself, authority that only God possessed. As their boat glided peacefully toward shore under starlight, the disciples reflected deeply. Jesus had been with them the entire time. His peace never depended on circumstances. The storm was real, the danger real, but his authority was greater. The deepest lesson wasn't just that Jesus could calm storms, but that he was always there, always in control, even when he seemed to be sleeping, even when winds howled and waves crashed, even when fear threatened to overwhelm them. As you rest tonight, remember this story. Whatever storms you face, worry, fear, uncertainty, grief, you are not alone. The same Jesus who calmed the Sea of Galilee is present with you now. He is not afraid of your storms. He is not overwhelmed by what overwhelms you. Just as he spoke peace to wind and waves, he speaks peace to your heart. Be still. Rest in that peace tonight. Let his presence calm the turbulent waters of your mind and heart. Trust that he is with you, faithful and powerful. The storm cannot separate you from him. The waves cannot wash away his promises. When he speaks, even the deepest fears must be still. Sleep peacefully, knowing you are held by the one who commands wind and waves, the one who brings calm to every storm. Be still, and know that he is God.